Very excited to welcome our next speaker. He is a member of our board of directors at the Roosevelt Initiative. He's a friend. I met him actually here at EarthX about a year ago, and it was truly a great time to meet him. And he has been such an ardent supporter of our work and has been just such a great resource. And we bonded over how much we love Theodore Roosevelt, so I'm very happy that he agreed today to speak about how Theodore Roosevelt can be a role model for modern conservation. So I'd love to welcome to the stage former Rear Admiral Timothy Gallaudet.
Thanks so much, Jason. That's great. Well, yes, so Jason and I met only a year ago, and when I heard the idea that he was putting together this Roosevelt initiative, I was immediately, I rarely do this. I usually take time, I ask my wife or something, or colleagues about joining something, but I loved it right away and committed on the spot. And a large part of that has to do not necessarily with Roosevelt's conservation history and promotion, but it's his role as a naval advocate. And he was really what our country needed at the time. When he was the Assistant Secretary of the Navy under McKinley in the late 1800s, he knew that we had to increase our naval power. We had a very antiquated fleet, and even the European navies really, they mocked us, actually, our Navy. And so he developed a rapid shipbuilding plan, and it actually helped us win the day during the Spanish-American War. And then, of course, the legacy continues because we have the greatest Navy in the world, which I served for 32 years. And it's, the legacy is even more aptly enshrined in this ship, the USS Theodore Roosevelt, one of our nuclear aircraft carriers. And again, he got it right about the Navy when he said this, about the deterrence value of a powerful fleet. So that really was my entry point to admire this great American. But then when I started looking into his conservation history, I was even more wowed of all the things he's done. And you can see here, he was very articulate. I wish people today could speak and write like he did today. I can only wish I could, but ultimately, some of the things he's done. He established the U.S. Forest Service. He established 150 national forests and dozens of different preserves that ultimately live on today through the national forests and the National Wildlife Refuge System, many of which I've been to, and just wonderful places that preserve America's great natural beauty. Another part of his enduring legacy are national parks. And of course, he had to work with Congress on this, but he was able to get over the goal line 5, and he added space or area to Yosemite. Those are a few of the national parks you see that he created. And then also national monuments. And that's something he was able to do through the Antiquities Act, which was passed under his watch in 1906. And these are just half of the national monuments, beautiful places as you can see, that he was able to create during his presidency. And the other 18 are just equally stunning. So incredible how much he was able to accomplish. I don't think there really has been another American president who has the conservation legacy that Theodore Roosevelt has. And all told, 230 million acres of public land were added during his time as our commander-in-chief. What a great legacy. Here he is with John Muir in Yosemite, the very well-known naturalist. Now, I took that on board as the administrator of NOAA in terms of a conservation mandate. NOAA has many different missions, some of which include restoring habitat, which we did and I witnessed all around the country. I've seen habitat restoration work by NOAA in Oregon, California, Florida, Louisiana, Texas, Michigan, Maryland, Virginia, and that's not even half the work NOAA does. So it's a really great mission. The other mission they have is to monitor and manage and resource the National Estuarine Research Reserves, of which there are several dozen. And estuaries are really just another national treasure. We have a natural treasure as well. In fact, I live on one in the Chesapeake Bay, and it's just, I get to wake up to that every morning, and the beauty never gets so old for me. And then probably I think the jewel in the crown there for conservation for NOAA is the National Marine Sanctuary System. There are 18 right now. During our watch at NOAA, we were able to create the first new one in Mallows Bay on the Potomac River in 20 years. We also expanded a sanctuary called the Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary. It's Texas's only National Marine Sanctuary, which I'll talk about in a second. And we were able to set in place the work and the wheels turning to get new sanctuaries that were established after I left, and they include ones in Wisconsin for shipwrecks as well as Lake Ontario. So all told, I was very proud to further Theodore Roosevelt's conservation mission when I was leading NOAA as the acting and deputy administrator. Now, today, I'm working, supporting several nonprofits like the Roosevelt Alliance that are focused on conservation, as well as these. Forest Blue is Special Forces veterans doing coral reef conservation, and they're starting to expand in other missions like turtle rescues and beach cleanup. Guy Harvey Foundation is represented at this conference. The executive director, Jessica Harvey, is here. And their focus is billfish and large pelagic conservation, which is a really fantastic area of work. I've also worked with WWF. They have an ocean security board that I'm on, and our main effort there is to counter illegal fishing, of which China is the greatest perpetrator. And then lastly, I'm with the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation. This is the nonprofit advocacy group that champions the sanctuaries I previously mentioned. Now, going in that vein, I'm going to make a call here to request anyone who's interested in these special places in ocean conservation for donations. The Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary is headquartered in Galveston, Texas, not too far away. And what they lack is a proper visitor center that does education and outreach. This is me diving on that sanctuary. It's about 100 miles offshore of Galveston, and it's because they lack the tourism pressure that other coastal areas have. You could see that coral reefs are pristine. Many people nowadays just claim that coral reefs are in decline. They are in some places, but not here. Fantastic, pristine reefs. You could see aquarium-like conditions. But because they're so far offshore, they lack a center that can communicate all the good that this sanctuary and these coral reefs provide the natural environment through fisheries and their service as nurseries for fisheries, as well as water quality and other aspects of coral reefs that are so vital. So anyways, that's my pitch. If anybody's interested, please come and talk to me later. I'd love to get NOAA's sanctuary at Ocean Discovery Center. And then moving on, I just want to point everybody's attention to the fact that I have a book coming out in July. Pre-orders are available on Amazon, and it describes my time serving as in NOAA leadership during Trump's first term. You can see the subtitle, Leadership for Turbulent Times. As you can imagine, working for President Trump and the science agency wasn't exactly a cakewalk, but a lot of good sea stories here about my time in the Navy, the wonderful mentors I drew inspiration from, and then applied that inspiration when I was leading this fantastic environmental science agency. So closing, I just want to say thank you, Jason, for your leadership. The Roosevelt Initiative is just such a fantastic effort. I'm proud to be on the board, and I'm proud to be a champion for modern day conservation. Thank you.